So I will create a new Flutter project by going over to my command prompt, and this time I want to make it in my desktop. So I'll first navigate to my desktop and type in Flutter create, which is the command we use to create a new Flutter project, and the name of the project. So let us say codes app. Now if I'll just hit enter, a Flutter should create this new Flutter project for me, and you'll see it appear right here. This should take some time, and once it's done, you can quickly open it in an editor of your choice. I'll type in codes app, and it should open this app for me. Now before I go into like how we can run this, now before I go and start editing this project, let me also set up an emulator. For this particular project, I'll use my mobile device as an emulator, so I can just connect that. So I have the emulator running. Now I can quickly run this default project. This should take some time to run. So we have the default application running on our mobile emulator. What I'll first do is I'll get rid of some of the default code that is right here. So remove this code. I'll also come back up here and also remove some of this code that I don't really need. So right now we'll only have a material app. We have our main function that runs our application, and a my app widget, which has const my homepage set right now. So with any project, what I like to do is I like to create a new folder, call this screens, and inside this new folder I can create a new file called home screen dot. In bigger projects you can have all your screen or the UI code in one folder, and what I'll do is I'll create a new stateless widget. And before I do that, with any new file, the first step you can do is import material. What you can do is import material. So this is the material package from Flutter itself. Import Flutter. You can import Flutter material dot, and you can create a new stateless widget. Let us call this home screen for now. Now we created a new screen, and what I can do is I can copy this name, come back to my main dot, and replace this home page that we have with this new home screen that we just created. We'll again get this error because Flutter doesn't know where this home screen is. So we need to import this library home screen dot to our Flutter project. And once I save this, you'll see the screen go blank because my home screen right now returns a container which is empty. So if I'll save this as well, it will do hot reload, and you'll see the screen has become black. We'll again use the widget that we are familiar with already, which is the scaffold widget. And just as I do that, I can save this file, and you'll see the screen become white again because the default background color of scaffold is white. And now I can set the body of this scaffold to be a elevated button. So I need to use a button right now. And why is that? So let us come back to it. But first, let us see what this elevated button is. So I need to right now add a button, which, when you'll click on that button, you'll make an API call. This API call would get some data, and then it would show it on screen. So right now, let us create a button on this screen and try to navigate to the next screen. So it will teach you about how navigation is done in Flutter. Before we go to that, we are getting a small error here, and it says like we need to have the required argument on pressed for a button. Now what is this on pressed? This on pressed takes in a function, an unnamed function, which basically is what should happen when the button is pressed. So we are also getting something else. The child is also required. Now the elevated button also needs a child. This child can be some widget, as in text. Let us say this text can say For now, since we're using it to go to the next screen, let us say that this text is go to next screen. If I'll save this file really quick, you'll see a button appear here and it is right under my notification bar. So to avoid this from happening, we also have another widget called safe area, which what it does is, let us quickly see the documentation for it. Creates a widget that avoids this operating system interface or the notification bar on top. So right now we have a widget right here. Let us try to bring it to the center by wrapping in a widget known as center. Once I do that, it should come to the center of the screen, which is really cool. So now if I click on this button, you'll see like nothing happens because of course the on pressed is empty, and we want to modify it to maybe go to the next screen.